I fell in love with American confidence as soon as I landed in New York. I was moved by the powerful optimism of the New York City Marathon, and I also wanted to learn from it, mention accomplishments in job interviews, and ask "How are you?" to strangers with a big friendly smile and without waiting for the answer, just striding towards my bright future. 10 years in, I still love the buoyancy, but I wonder, is it real? Are Americans really the most confident people in the world?
So intense, Anna. Okay.
Are Americans the most, U.S. Americans, I should say, confident people in the world?
Yeah.
Everything is predicated on the idea that we are number one.
That we are smarter, better.
It's a population of people who collectively feel like they're the
They all answered the same, even though I asked friends and people I met throughout the years, and they are all very different from each other. In effect, Americans routinely answer to questionnaires saying that theirs is the best country in the world. When I Google confidence in America, though, I find this.
Confidence. We can see this crisis in the growing doubt about the meaning of our own lives and in the loss of a unity of purpose for our nation.
An invisible threat, a crisis of confidence, and a loss of unity. Sounds like the summer of 2020. The only thing missing are the weird fireworks that went on every night for over a month in front of our windows in Brooklyn. Carter's speech is from the summer of '79, though. In the middle of the oil crisis, right after the loss of the Vietnam War, the nation was down and the president tried to address it, in what's later been called the malaise speech. But that's not the only crisis of confidence. In 2009, right after the financial crisis, the American Psychology Association thought we needed to create a confidence virus to spread throughout the land to change the attitudes and behavior of the American public. This year, we certainly had a virus, but it wasn't a confidence-inspiring one. More than that, when I look at the history of the United States, I wonder, are these crises of confidence recurring? Or was confidence a myth to start with? James Baldwin wrote that American confidence is part of the collection of myths to which white Americans cling, that their ancestors were all freedom-loving heroes, that they were born in the greatest country the world has ever seen. Be it a reality or a myth, the large majority of citizens are proud to be an American. How do you explain so much confidence?
We are kind of cowboys, you know? You do it by yourself or you don't do it at all, and if it doesn't happen, if you didn't make it, it's your fault.
Individualism is a possible explanation, but there are many more, from movies all the way to geography.
We're people on a big island. There's a lot of Americans who will never come in contact with people from another country, and they simply make the human assumption that their family, their town, the people that they see every day are probably the best people that exist.
If you think that these are enough reasons to be confident, don't forget history and religion.
We learned that World War II wouldn't have ended unless the Americans stepped in, and we learned that World War I wouldn't have ended unless the Americans stepped in.
Finally, if you dig into psychology, there is another possible explanation which is not very inspirational: the Dunning-Kruger Effect.
Yes, the Dunning-Kruger effect is that when you are incompetent or when you lack knowledge or expertise, you're not in a position to realize that you lack knowledge and expertise.
That might explain why, for 50 years, freshman students in the US increasingly overestimated their skills until their intellectual self-confidence started going down 4 years ago. As European and specifically Italian, there is nothing more familiar than the idea of the decline and fall of the empire. I feel that at home we have developed a certain nonchalant way of dealing with it, in the sense that it's already fallen. What can you do? You might as well enjoy life. But here in the US, I'm not sure how people are taking it.
Today, we're number one in COVID. We are now not able to go to any other country. We are being quarantined essentially by the world. So instead of saying who can and can't come into the country, we're the ones who can't go anywhere.
If I ask on Twitter who is the embodiment of US confidence, the answers are Trump, Elon Musk, the Avengers, and these two memes. Moses asks me to define confidence. One way is to look at its opposites: fear, apprehension, hesitation. Do these words describe the United States of mind today? Fragility seems to me a clear opposite of confidence, and this was definitely the summer of white fragility, a book on race written by Robin DiAngelo, who is white, and has sold over 400,000 print copies from May to June at the height of the Black Lives Matter protests. And that takes us to the ugly side of confidence.
I don't know if you are going to like any of my answers.
It all comes down to American essentialism. This idea that Americans are like no one else. It's the land of the free and freedom doesn't exist anywhere else. And unless we intervene, other places won't get free. It's an entire way that we justify colonialism and imperialism.
The only way we could justify it was to create this story that we were better than those who we were doing these things to. And I think this same version of this story has been passed down. I mean, it's part of our American subconscious.
There is also the difference between confidence as a way of perceiving your abilities.
Wow!
And confidence as a positive outlook on the future, more similar to optimism. And finally, there's the difference between confidence in yourself and confidence in the economy. US Americans often had both, and the two sentiments would reinforce themselves mutually as a double dip into a big, happy confidence bowl, at least until now.
This sense of hopelessness, maybe not hopelessness, but this sense that we are not in control has really affected our confidence.
We have a lot of hard work to do here, and we can't just rely on our Americanness to get through it.
So I think to that extent, maybe we're now just getting to the point where we're average.
Because we aren't number one, and that's not because I'm anti-American, it's because it's the truth.
When I first moved here 10 years ago, I thought that one sign of American confidence was the fact that taxi cabs always run in the streets. They don't wait at the station like they do in Italy. They go out and trust that they will meet a client. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, aka the Pygmalion effect. Fake it until you make it. New York is obviously built to take off, said Seraphine Clairwine. Living here, I changed too. I find myself being much more optimistic when starting a project, more willing to look past the challenges and think that it will work out well, even now that the streets are much emptier. So, even though it might be an illusion, a self-fulfilling prophecy or a myth, I would say it works, if you have the chance to believe it's real.